10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on YouTube, KSMU, and on the Audio Reader Network at Kansas University. For more information, please visit us at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. Please stay tuned as our broadcast will start soon. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube channel now. At Blind Community Thrift Store on YouTube, and more info about this radio reading service, Navalins, and the Blind Community Thrift Store at www.blindcommunitythriftstore.com. The Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service will begin shortly. We will be reading local news from around the Southwest Missouri area, Monday through Friday.
The time is 10 a.m.
Thank you for tuning into the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. My name is Brandy and I'm here with Christina. We invite you to listen to our broadcast both live and on demand. Our live sessions are available on the Blind Community Thrift Store YouTube channel Monday to Friday between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. each week. Additionally, you can access on-demand content through the Audio Reader Network, which offers a wide range of audio materials for the visually impaired community. To explore content from the Audio Reader Network, please visit www.reader.ku.edu. The site provides details about accessing content via Amazon Alexa, Audio Reader Network mobile app, and information on receiving a radio to listen to the broadcast by KSMU Radio. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio. And this is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. And I lost my place. Just a sec. Christian County leaders say they need a new jail today. Finding $60 million is the challenge. The Christian County, wrong spot. Last year, the Christian County Sheriff's Office jailed an average of 155 people per day. The county jail has a total of 99 beds. Christian County officials are in agreement that a new, bigger jail is a top priority for the county. But with budgets becoming tighter each year, the county is uncertain when it will have the funds to construct the facility it needs. Sheriff Brad Cole estimates a new jail will come with a $60 to $75 million price tag. Obviously, crowding creates a different work environment for the staff because you have people sleeping and housed in places that they were never intended to be housed or sleeping in, Cole said. It does create some officer safety issues at times, but we train for that and we make sure people understand and know how to handle those situations. In addition to overcrowding, the facility has faced major plumbing issues over the years. In July 2025, the county completed a project for around $1 million to solve sewer problems that repeatedly sent wastewater and feces into the sheriff's office and inmates' showers. Honestly, we're one lawsuit away from saying, "Why have we not already built this jail?" Cole said. "We do everything we can to mitigate the liability. We make sure our inmates are taken care of and that they have everything that's required and needed. But the fact of the matter is we've way outgrown this jail. This jail structurally is not what it should be, and we face daily issues. Space is at a premium. To quell crowding, Christian County sends some inmates to the jails in neighboring Douglas and Stone counties. On an average day, between 15 and 25 Christian County inmates could be jailed in other counties," said Captain Colton Craig. "One of the biggest challenges with this jail's limited space is treating people with mental health conditions who are booked into the jail on temporary holds. The general population in the jail is divided into 6 pods, groups of cells. Inmates who need to be monitored closely are kept in a separate wing of the jail, which contains 8 cells. Inmates may stay in these cells if they are acting out or becoming aggressive toward others, or if they need to be closely monitored due to a mental health crisis. There's one designated watch cell for people at risk of self-harm or suicide. If multiple people are in crisis, personnel would normally move some inmates to convert other cells into watch cells," Cole said. "The cells are frequently utilized because they also house people with complicated medical needs. Normally, this would be temporary housing until they're able to move up to our general population, but this has turned into a kind of a medical wing," Craig said. When reporters visited the jail in late January 2026, the watch cell was occupied by someone experiencing a mental health crisis. Another cell was being used by a person on an oxygen machine. This isn't anything new. Limited space means limited privacy in many situations. Springfield criminal defense attorney Stuart Huffman said he's met with clients in Christian County's drug tank on multiple occasions because it was the most secluded place available. "The other thing with Christian County is terrible planning," he said. "You have a jail that's not connected to the circuit court. People in the jail often attend court appointments virtually, even though the circuit court is directly across the street." Although Huffman acknowledged that the jail's design and planning creates issues, he said Christian County's problems are not unique among county jails in southwest Missouri. Every jail is overcrowded. This isn't anything new, Huffman said. It is common for county jails to keep 3 or 4 inmates in a room with a 2-person bunk, he added. New jail would likely come later than sooner. Christian County Presiding Commissioner Lynn Morris believes the county jail will find the county will find a suitable piece of property and come up with the money to build a new jail in the next 5 years or so. There is currently no plan to do this, as Christian County is already facing difficult budget decisions to avoid dipping into its reserves. Inflation and population growth in the county have been outpacing sales tax revenue since 2022. We need a new jail today. We needed a new jail probably 2 or 3 years ago, but we don't have any money to do it, Morris said. The county commission continues to say that a new jail is the biggest priority, according to Cole. I couldn't agree more. I've been telling them this for the last 10 years, he said. This is not the first time Christian County has been in dire need of a new jail with no way to fund it. Until 2001, inmates were housed in the 3rd floor of the historic courthouse in downtown Ozark. Christian County officials began attempting to fund a new jail in 1995, but it took a lawsuit from the ACLU and an inmate's suicide before voters approved a 1/4-cent sales tax to fund the current facility. Current jail was built under pressure. The old courthouse lockup had space for 18 inmates, although it was frequently over capacity, according to a 1999 story from the Springfield News-Leader. It lacked air conditioning and had no emergency call buttons or fire escape. In October 1999, the Ozarks chapter of the ACLU filed a class action lawsuit against Christian County, alleging that the conditions of the jail violated inmates' civil rights. At the time, the executive director of the ACLU stated that the condition of the jail was a tragedy waiting to happen, not only for inmates but for staff. Christian County officials were in agreement that the jail needed an upgrade. There had been 4 attempts since 1995 to pass a 1/4-cent sales tax to fund a new jail, but voters rejected the measure each time. 1 month after the ACLU filed its lawsuit, a 24-year-old inmate died by suicide in his cell. The county was forced to evacuate the other inmates and move them to Stone and Ozark counties. While the jail was empty, the county got to work adding a fire escape and meeting other conditions negotiated by the ACLU to settle the lawsuit, but the space still had serious security issues. Christian County voters finally approved the 1/4-cent sales tax in April 2000. The jail closed after another inmate suicide in August 2000. In March 2001, an inmate reportedly managed to break out of the jail and run away after removing a grate in one of the showers, climbing to the roof and lowering himself to the ground with knotted sheets. The current jail was completed in late 2001 for sum of $0.7 million, according to a November 2001 story from the News-Leader. The Springfield Business Journal reported that contractor R.E. Smith Construction and architect Bates & Associates Incorporated completed the 85,000 square foot facility. We've been at capacity about as long as I can remember. When the current jail facility was completed, Christian County was averaging 41 inmates a day. Cole joined the county in 2004. We've been at capacity for, honestly, about as long as I can remember, Cole said. The sheriff stated that when the facility was initially designed, it was intended to accommodate an additional upper level so that it could be expanded in the future. Unfortunately, they did not follow the design plans and the blueprints the way that it was supposed to be, which creates a huge issue as far as adding that 3rd level, he said. Structurally, the building's not capable of handling that 3rd level, and the feasibility cost-wise to add that 3rd level is just astronomical. The jail had recurring issues with both sewer and drainage system in the kitchen, a problem Cole said was caused because the builders installed 3-inch drain lines instead of the 6-inch lines specified in the blueprint. Sewage and feces backed up into the sheriff's office and inmate showers on multiple occasions. Remediating the damage cost the county thousands of dollars on each occasion. Christian County wrote a grant for sewage improvements in the jail, Cole said, enabling the county to finish a $1 million project to fix the problem in July 2025. New facility will cost over $60 million. based on an informal feasibility study Cole conducted around 2023. He said that a new jail facility for Christian County will cost between $60 and $75 million, with construction costs increasing by about 5% every year. He said a new jail will need 350 to 400 beds to accommodate the next 25 years of growth in the county. In 2022, Greene County completed a new jail with a capacity of 1,242 inmates for $150 million. By statute, county jails in Missouri are supposed to be located within the county seat. Cole said the future jail site would ideally be located off a major highway like Route 14, Route CC, or Highway 65, and would connect to city water and sewer services. The footprint would be around 15 to 20 acres, and it would look different from the current facility. Studies and experience have shown that you don't build jails like what we have now. You don't build them up, you build them out, Cole said. The cost to build them up is higher than building them out. Christian County might keep 2 jails in use to make money. The Christian County Jail currently houses some federal inmates. Although the percentage of federal inmates varies day by day, Craig estimated they make up 25% of the jail's population on average. I think one of the goals is to try to have more federal inmates because we lose money on state prisoners, Morris said. The sheriff envisions a future with 2 active jails in Christian County. My thoughts and plans, you're still going to have the jail here because you're still going to have court here, Cole said. So we're still going to have house inmates here for court purposes. We're already here. We might as well utilize it to make some money and house some federal inmates. If the county jailed 100 federal inmates, Cole estimated that it would be reimbursed about $7,500 a day.
My computer's completely stopped.
Oh, okay.
I can't get it to do anything.
All right. Just take me just a minute. Where's my arrow? There it is. SPS Board approves $51.7 million construction price for a new Pershing. Groundbreaking for the new school likely to be held in June. Students will attend classes in the current building while the new one is built. Springfield Public Schools now knows the price tag for a new Pershing Middle School, paving the way for a groundbreaking ceremony to be held. The Springfield Board of Education on Tuesday, May 19th, approved a guaranteed maximum price of $51,790,538 from Crossland Construction. The project's construction manager at risk. The vote taken during the board's regular meeting was 7-0 in favor. While the cost is about $2 million over an estimated cost, the district built in contingency funds worth about $1.9 million, said Travis Shaw, Deputy Superintendent for Operations. Shaw said Wednesday the district was pleased with where the price came in. All along, we planned on a 3% contingency for this project, Shaw said. And also, we learned that Crossland felt like an about $450,000 contingency was going to be needed for all the site work. You can do a lot of your due diligence up front with geotechnical testing, but you just never have a clear verification of exactly what's in the ground. Sean Del Day, Executive Director of Operations for SPS, said one of the reasons for the price landing above estimates was an increased cost for steel, about $200,000 more, he said. The original estimate was made in 2025.
I already messaged him.
Oh, you did? Okay.
No, you just read.
Gotcha. I lost my voice. Oh, shows that increased construction of data centers across the country is leading to steel prices going up. The total project cost, including desks, furniture, tech, and supplies, not part of construction, comes in at $58,646,000. Crossland now assumes the risk of increased cost during construction. Under the construction manager at risk delivery method, Crossland works with subcontractors to determine costs for supplies and construction, then delivers a guaranteed maximum price after bids for those costs are collected. When completed, the 142,000 square foot school will offer about 48 classrooms, updated library, gym, and rehearsal spaces for choir and band programs. It will be built on the northeastern corner of the school's property. Once the building is completed, the existing school will be demolished, making room for an athletic center similar to what is being built for Pipkin and Reed Middle Schools. A date for groundbreaking has not yet been set. Stephen Hall, Chief Communication Officer for SPS, said he anticipates a ceremony sometime in June, depending on when arrangements can be made with Crossland and related subcontractors. Getting to groundbreaking a long process. Pershing is the final of 3 middle school renovations outlined in a $220 million bond election from 2023. Other projects in that package, called Proposition S, included two new middle schools for Pipkin and Reed, storm shelters at 6 elementaries, and security upgrades throughout the district. Pipkin and Reed are on track to reopen for the 2026-2027 school year, and all 6 of the storm shelters have been completed. Because of extra money from several sources, SBS added 2 elementary schools to the bond package. Bingham will be demolished, then reconstructed, and Bissett will be renovated and expanded. From the start, Pershing has been planned as the final construction project in the package. It took the most preparation. A demographic study was needed to determine whether it should be entirely a middle school. The district decided in 2024 to close Pershing's elementary school. Elementary school students starting in 2026-2027 will attend either Wilder or Field Elementaries. Both schools have recently had classroom expansions to make room for the influx of new students. Instead of renovating the existing school, the board last year decided to build a new school on the property. Costs to renovate the existing building up to modern standards were deemed too expensive. But neighbors along Alameda Street and Cedarbrook Avenue, along the Pershing property's northern and eastern borders, are not pleased with the new plan. They say the building will be too close to their homes and that the building's height will enable students to see into their homes and yards. The district hopes the new school will be ready before the project's original completion time of 2028. The board is expected to consider a similar guaranteed maximum price in June for the Bingham project, Dilday said. This article is by Joe Hadsall. He is the education reporter for the Springfield Daily Citizen. Hadsall has more than 2 decades of experience reporting in the Ozarks with the Joplin Globe, Christian County Headliner News, and 417 Magazine. Contact him at 417-837-3671 or jhadsall at sgfcitizen.org.
Free 80s Symphonic Rock Concert returns to Springfield Park, Springfield News-Leader by Dave DeMille. A free outdoor concert celebrating the biggest hits of the 1980s is set to return to Springfield this summer, bringing symphonic rock to Phelps Grove Park, according to a community announcement. Guarantee Bank Pops in the Park will be held Saturday, June 20th, featuring the rock band Jeans and Classics, performing alongside musicians from the Springfield Symphony Orchestra, and a collaborative concert benefiting the Springfield Art Museum. Scroll. Where'd it go? I tried to scroll and I lost it. I'll just go to the other article, and then we'll come back to that one. Community raising thousands for a family of Springfield teen killed in Christian County crash by Neela Oberbrook, graduated and attended her senior prom shortly before her death. This is the Springfield Daily Citizen. Community members have rallied to support the family of a Springfield teen who died in a Christian County vehicle crash Tuesday, May 19th. Neela Beck, 18, was a passenger in a car traveling west on Route 14 near Delaware Town Road, a few miles west of Nixa. Around 12:22 p.m., the car began hydroplaning and crossed the center line of the road, causing another vehicle to strike it on the passenger side, according to a crash report from the Missouri State Highway Patrol. The 20-year-old driver of the car carrying Oberbeck sustained minor injuries, while two occupants of the other vehicle, Crane residents aged 79 and 67, were moderately injured, according to a crash report from the Missouri State Highway Patrol. Oberbeck died at the scene. Names are not provided in the online report, but a family friend confirmed Oberbeck is the deceased. An online fundraiser for Oberbeck's family had raised over $14,000 as of May 22nd. Amy Oberbeck, Neela's mother, is a familiar face to many in the Springfield small business and event scene. She owns and operates Shaker's Mobile Bartending and Just One More, a sports bar and pool hall in Republic. Dennis Cox, who organized the fundraiser, has worked with her in the event community for several years. It couldn't have happened to better people, he said, adding that Amy Oberbeck tends to be the first person to help when others are in these types of situations. Cox said Neela Oberbeck was homeschooled. She recently graduated, attended her senior prom, and received her high school equivalency from Ozarks Technical Community College. This is by Zoe McIntyre. She covers Springfield's surrounding communities like Nixa, Ozark, and Republic. McIntyre is an Evangel University alum, a lifelong resident of the Springfield area. Contact her at zmcintyre@sgfcitizen.org.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Springfield's housing market ranking is a call to action, by Brendan Gressimer, Springfield News-Leader. This is an opinion. It says Springfield's recent ranking among the top 20 best housing markets in the U.S. is exciting news for our city. Yet as we celebrate, it's crucial to look beyond the headlines and focus on the policies that will allow this growth to benefit not just newcomers, but longtime residents as well. Although we're in the top 20, housing and home ownership remains a challenge here and across the country. The average first-time home buyer in the U.S. last year was 40 years of age, an all-time high. Just last fall, the U.S. Treasury Secretary warned of a national housing emergency. Affordability is a big hurdle nationally and locally due to relatively higher mortgage rates, cost of new construction, and an overall constraint of single-family dwellings. The article rightly points out that new construction within Springfield city limits is limited. As economics professor David Mitchell of Missouri State University notes, this is likely to push further future development to the outskirts. Springfield is well positioned with initiatives like Restore SGF and programs such as the Down Payment Assistance Program that can highlight the value of Springfield's existing housing stock while also supporting innovative missing middle housing projects that bridge the gap between apartments and single-family homes. In a little over 2 years, Restore SGF has incentivized over 100 new homeowners to purchase homes in Springfield neighborhoods. Some observers suggest that current renters are unlikely to afford home ownership in Springfield. However, our 2-year experience with the DPA program tells a different story. 97% of DPA recipients were Springfield area residents, and 77% lived inside the city limits. These buyers are not outside investors or speculative purchasers. These are local first-time home buyers, often younger residents, planting roots in the community and helping Springfield retain talent that might otherwise leave the area. This isn't just a statistic. It's a signal to our policymakers that our local residents are bankable and ready to become homeowners. The primary barrier is the down payment, not the ability to make mortgage payments. Furthermore, if higher gas prices persist, many who currently live in Springfield's surrounding communities may choose to move closer to work, offering Springfield a competitive advantage. Incentivizing homeownership through programs like DPA ensures that these residents and those already here have the opportunity to establish long-term roots in our city. Springfield's top 20 ranking is more than a badge of honor. It's a call to action. The opportunity is in front of us. By continuing to invest in home ownership incentives, neighborhood revitalization, and thoughtful housing development, Springfield can ensure that its growth benefits everyone, not just those arriving here, but the residents who have already invested their lives, families, and futures in this community. Brendan Graysomer is Executive Director of Restore SGF, an organization whose mission is to increase home ownership and improve housing quality in Springfield.
Right. Finishing out on the Pops in the Park, Symphony Orchestra is playing at So let me start over this paragraph. Guarantee Bank Pops in the Park will be held Saturday, June 20th. Featuring the rock band Jeans and Classics, performing alongside musicians from the Springfield Symphony Orchestra in a collaborative concert benefiting the Springfield Art Museum. The event will take place at Phelps Grove Park, with seating opening at 6 p.m. and the concert beginning at 7 p.m. Admission is free, and attendees are encouraged to bring their own chairs and blankets. The program will focus on popular music from the 1980s, performed in a high-energy symphonic rock format. The concert is designed to be family-friendly, according to the announcement. Parking, shuttles, and amenities. Free parking will be available at multiple nearby locations, including the Springfield Art Museum, which will offer handicapped accessible parking. Additional parking sites include National Avenue Christian Church and Asbury United Methodist Church. Free shuttle service will operate from Parkview High School and designated Missouri State University commuter lots, according to the announcement. Food and non-alcoholic beverages are permitted inside the park. Several food and beverage trucks are expected to be on site, and free water will be available through Guarantee Bank and the City Utilities Water Wagon. Art activities and pets welcome. The Springfield Art Museum will host hands-on art activities and yard games in the park pavilion during the event. Dogs are allowed but must remain on a leash in accordance with park rules. Animal control services will be present. This story was created by Dave DeMille, DDEMILLE, at Gannett, GANNETT.com, with the assistance of artificial intelligence. Journalists were involved in every step of the information gathering, review, editing, and publishing process.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Why Missouri is hosting a public forum on AI and massive data centers, by Dave DeMille, Columbia Daily Tribune. Missouri Governor Mike Kehoe will convene state leaders, researchers, and industry experts at Missouri University of Science and Technology next month for a public forum examining how artificial intelligence and large-scale data centers are shaping the state's future, according to a community announcement. The Governor's Forum on Artificial Intelligence and Data Centers is scheduled from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. June 18th at the Missouri Protoplex on the Missouri S&T campus, located at 1700 White Columns Drive in Rolla. Attendance is free and open to the public, though advance registration is required at https://ai.mst.edu. Focus on growth, infrastructure, and communities. According to the announcement, the forum will feature panel discussions and presentations centered on issues driving the expansion of artificial intelligence and data center development across Missouri. Topics include energy demand and the power needs of next-generation data centers, workforce development and talent pipelines, environmental considerations tied to sustainability, and community impacts related to technological growth. Kehoe said the event is intended to help state agencies, higher education institutions, industry leaders, and local communities build a shared understanding of how emerging technologies could influence Missouri's economy and infrastructure. Missouri S&T hosts statewide discussion. Missouri S&T Chancellor Mohammed Deghani said the university's engineering and technology programs make it a fitting venue for statewide conversations about artificial intelligence and advanced infrastructure. According to the announcement, Deghani emphasized the importance of preparing graduates to enter the workforce with fluency in AR-related technologies and infrastructure systems as those fields continue to expand. The forum's partners include the Missouri Office of Administration, the Missouri Department of Economic Development, the Missouri Department of Higher Education and Workforce Development, the Missouri Department of Natural Resources, and the Missouri Public Service Commission. The story was created by Dave DeMille, DDEMILLE, DEMILLE at Gannett.com with the assistance of artificial intelligence. Journalists were involved in every step of the information gathering, review, editing, and publishing process. Learn more at cm.usatoday.com/ethical -conduct.
Just on the website to register, it's https:// Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Mural by Emily Ding and Osiris Rain wins national recognition. Hitchhikers, inspired by Route 66, was created during the 2025 Overlay Art and Culture Festival downtown by Jeff Kessinger. The mural created during the 2025 Overlay Art and Culture Festival has received national recognition from the National Mural Awards. Hitchhikers, created by artists Emily Ding and Osiris Rain and curated and facilitated by Overlay Inc., received regional gold for the Midwest region as well as the prestigious National Silver Award, placing the mural among the most celebrated projects in the United States last year. Curating and facilitating public art can be a challenging prospect, but when done properly with community support and trust, big things are possible, Meg Wagler, Overlay's founder, said in a media release. We're so proud of our contributing artists Emily Ding and Osiris Rain for bringing the epic vision to life in Springfield, and we're proud as a young organization to do this work and bring a new level of scale, quality, and intention to our Queen City. We celebrate these awards with our artists and the community that gets to enjoy this public art piece for years to come. Overlay Inc. partnered with Vicino Group and local Rotary clubs to bring Hitchhikers to life. Installed live during the festival, the mural serves as an homage to U.S. Route 66 and the generations of travelers, dreamers, and adventurers connected to the historic roadway, the release said. The piece was designed to engage younger audiences with the culture and legacy of Route 66 through contemporary public art. The National Mural Awards recognize outstanding mural projects across the country that demonstrate artistic excellence, community impact, and innovation in public art. Hitchhikers also has been included on Street Art Cities, an international platform used by travelers and art enthusiasts to discover destinations through public art tourism. Jeff Kessinger is the reader engagement editor for the Springfield Daily Citizen and the voice of its daily newsletter, SGF-AM. He covered sports in Southwest Missouri for the better part of 20 years, from young athletes to the pros. The Springfield native and Missouri State University alumnus is thrilled to be doing journalism in the Queen City, helping connect the community with important information. He and wife Jamie daily try to keep a tent on the circus that is the blended family of 5 kids and 3 cats. Pictured is the mural. It is a picture of a woman who is wearing canvas shoes, blue socks, a pair of green shorts with a white tank top shirt and a denim button-up shirt over with her one shoulder exposed. She has a hummingbird on her extended arm, or about to land, what it looks like. It looks almost like butterfly wings behind her. Down around her legs, you can see an image of a fawn, and there's a rabbit by her foot. There's a cougar, I believe, off to the right-hand side, and at the top right-hand corner is Missouri Route 66, and it's a blend of pastel colors. It's very bright. There's pinks, there's yellows, there's greens throughout the imaging. Oh, and in the bottom left-hand corner is a turtle, and a lot of foliage and flowers and things kind of in the background, shadowy as well.
Missouri lawmakers approve Armed Missouri Rangers for Schools by Annalise Henshaw, Missouri Independent. Key points. Missouri lawmakers approved a bill to create a new role of armed school guards called Missouri Rangers. The proposed Rangers would undergo up to 160 hours of training and must pass a rigorous physical fitness test. Supporters argue the Rangers would provide a higher level of training and faster response times than current options. A bill to create a new faction of school protection officers with physical fitness superior to a U.S. Marine got final approval from Missouri lawmakers in the final days of the legislative sessions. The legislation seeks to allow schools to hire volunteer or paid guards called Missouri Rangers who could carry a gun on school grounds. The bill's sponsor, Republican State Senator David Gregory of Chesterfield, told senators he wanted to give schools a choice to have a higher trained armed guard. He compared current protection officer requirements to that of a Walmart guard with a gun. Currently, schools can appoint teachers and administrators as school protection officers, allowing them to carry a gun or self-defense spray device with training and a concealed carry permit. School protection officers must undergo a minimum of 112 hours of training, according to a Department of Public Safety rule. The state also has school resource officers, which are law enforcement officers with an additional 40-plus hours of training related to school safety. Gregory's legislation proposes a maximum of 160 hours of training, specifying that the program must include lessons on close quarter combat, bomb and arson training, and de-escalation, among others. Prior to training, Rangers must pass a physical fitness test. For those 35 and younger, they must complete a minimum of 40 push-ups in less than a minute and be able to run 1.5 miles in less than 12.5 minutes. The legislation asks the state's Peace Office Standards and Training Commission to identify lower standards for older applicants. The bill's first pass through the Senate brought little opposition, garnering the support of groups like the St. Louis County Police Association in its first committee hearing. In early April, just 2 senators voted against the proposal, but Senate Democrats unanimously voted against it when it returned to the chamber last week, with less than a day before session adjourned for the year. House Democrats unanimously rejected the proposal, uncomfortable with the proposition of having more firearms in schools. The answer to guns in schools is not more guns in schools, said State Representative Elizabeth Fuchs, a St. Louis Democrat, advocating instead for mental health support for students. Their arguments did not sway House Republicans, who unanimously voted in support of the bill. State Representative Burt Whaley, a Republican from Clever, has experience training school staff on what to do in case of a shooting. The key benefit of having a ranger, he said, was being able to quickly respond to threats. In one school he trained, the local law enforcement estimated that it could take up to 45 minutes for them to arrive. It is typically another person with a gun that knows how to use it, that's trained how to use it. They're usually the ones that are able to subdue a threat, he said. The bill follows other proposals passed last year addressing security concerns, like laws directing schools to share emergency operations plans with local law enforcement and report school safety incidents to the state's education department. Some of the provisions passed in last year's legislation have yet to be implemented because of a lack of funding, such as a requirement to equip schools with bleeding control kits and train staff on how to apply a tourniquet. Governor Mike Kehoe has until mid-July to sign or veto bills before they become law. This story was first published at MissouriIndependent.com.
This is from Springfield Daily Citizen. Missouri Supreme Court upholds gerrymandered congressional map for August primary. The unanimous rulings hand Republicans a legal victory in their push to use a new map aimed at unseating Kansas City Democrat Emanuel Cleaver. This is by the Missouri Independent, May 12, 2026. Pictured are several people outside the courthouse. They are carrying some are carrying American flags, some are carrying the Missouri flag, and they're holding a sign in the front that says Fair Maps, with Missouri being equal parts blue and red, 50% blue on top, 50% red on the bottom, meaning fair and equal. And one sign says people, not politicians. Supporters of a referendum on Missouri's gerrymandered redistricting map rally at the state capitol May 12, 2026, after the Missouri Supreme Court heard arguments on 2 cases involving the redistricting map. Photo is by Rudy Keller at Missouri Independent, and this is written by Rudy Keller. A congressional map drawn last year in a special session is constitutional and will be used in the August primary because it is uncertain whether a referendum petition seeking to repeal it will succeed, the Missouri Supreme Court ruled Tuesday, so Tuesday, May 12th. The court was unanimous in the two decisions delivered just a few hours after oral arguments. It was being asked in one case to toss the gerrymandered map entirely as a violation of the constitutional provision that districts be compact and as nearly equal in population as may be. In the other, the court was asked to suspend the map because 300,000 signatures seeking to force a referendum were delivered to Secretary of State Denny Hoskins on December 9th, 2 days before the law was to take effect. While the judges heard arguments, opponents of the gerrymandered map gathered outside to rally in support of a referendum. About 300 people showed up to chant, carry signs, and maintain their enthusiasm for a summer and fall of campaigning. As a result of the decisions, Missouri Republicans have won every argument over the legality of the map and the effect of the referendum petitions. The High Court decided two threshold issues on redistricting in rulings issued March 24th. The court said Governor Mike Kehoe had the authority to call lawmakers into special session to write the bill, and lawmakers were within their constitutional power to enact it. The Missouri gerrymandering process is playing out against a national battle for control of Congress. On April 29th, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that a section of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 mandating that states draw districts where minority voters hold the majority of votes is unconstitutional. Since then, Alabama, Tennessee, and Louisiana have moved to eliminate districts that were drawn to align with the law. In Louisiana, the governor has suspended the state's primary elections for the U.S. House, while in Alabama, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled the state could use a 2021 map that had been thrown out for violating the Voter Rights Act. Missouri Supreme Court says court should not judge prudence of new maps. Writing for the unanimous court in the case over whether the map is constitutional, Missouri Chief Justice W. Brent Powell noted that drawing district maps is a political process, and the court should not second-guess those decisions. This court's review of the Missouri residents' appeals is limited to determining only the legality, not the prudence or popularity of the map, Powell wrote. The fight over the map began last summer when President Donald Trump pressured Missouri Republicans for help to maintain the slim Republican majority in the U.S. House. Republicans hold 6 of Missouri's 8 seats in Congress, and the partisan goal of the new map is to oust 5th District U.S. Rep. Emanuel Cleaver, a Kansas City Democrat, by splitting Kansas City and adding voters in 14 counties along the Missouri River. Cleaver's current district includes most of Kansas City and a portion of Jackson and Clay counties outside the city. Cleaver filed for re-election in February and said he will stay in the race regardless of which district is used in this year's elections. 5 Republicans have filed for the nomination to oppose Cleaver in hopes of exploiting the partisan advantage in the map passed last year. Pictured is Missouri Secretary of State Denny Hoskins speaking to reporters Tuesday after the Missouri Supreme Court heard arguments on 2 cases involving the state's gerrymandered redistricting map. He is pictured in a red suit jacket with a blue-black tie, and there are several reporters around to ask him questions along with cameras and microphones. After the court ruling, State Senator Barbara Washington, a Kansas City Democrat, lashed out at Republicans for passing the new map and attacked Hoskins for delaying certification of the petitions. Appeasing a tyrant is not going to make Missouri better, Washington said. The primary election day is August 4th, the same day Hoskins is supposed to determine whether the referendum petitions filed for the Political Action Committee people, not politicians, meet the threshold for placement on the November 3rd ballot. During comments to reporters after Tuesday's hearing, Hoskins said he intends to use the entire time available. The new map will be used for the primary, he said. Using old maps would be disarray, Hoskins says. If we went back to the old maps or to a different map other than the Missouri First map, we'd be in disarray, Hoskins said. It would be disarray for the people that would be going to town halls and listening to the candidates. It would be a disarray for the candidates that are running and going out meeting voters in the district. In the opinion written by Judge Ginger Gooch, the court said it is impossible to know whether there are enough signatures to force the referendum vote. The plaintiffs in the case, 2 voters who were moved between districts as a result of the legislature's revisions, prematurely brought the lawsuit arguing that the submission of signatures is enough to suspend the operation of new legislation. State law describes the process for verifying signatures and the timeline for making a determination of whether a petition has sufficient signatures, Gooch wrote. The plaintiffs incorrectly interpreted a 1914 ruling on referendums that upheld suspension of a law upon the filing of a petition. While plaintiffs argued that the filing was enough, Gooch noted that the 1914 decision required petitions that were legal, sufficient, and timely. So far, she wrote, it is unknown whether the petitions are sufficient. People, not politicians, has been tracking the signature verification process and believes it has succeeded, but there is no way to get Hoskins to decide before August 4th. Because the Secretary's certification process is ongoing and has not been finally determined, it is impossible to say, as of this opinion, whether the December 9th referendum petition filing was legal, sufficient, and timely, and therefore whether the 2025 map went into effect on December 11th or whether the map was referred to the people as of December 9th and can only go into effect when approved by a majority of the votes cast thereon, Gooch wrote. Allowing the signature verification process to proceed without suspending the effect of a new measure is a prudent protection against fraud, Gooch wrote in a footnote to the decision. Under appellant's argument, the suspension is automatic, regardless of whether the boxes contain petitions consisting only of invalid signatures, signatures of unregistered voters, or even blank pieces of paper, she wrote. Appellant's argument would permit legislation truly agreed to and finally passed by a majority of Missouri citizens, elected representatives, to be automatically suspended based on nothing more than the delivery of boxes purporting to contain signed referendum petitions. Proponents called decision victory for the rule of law. Put Missouri First, the political action committee created to campaign for the map, said the rulings were a complete and decisive victory for the rule of law, the Missouri Constitution, and the legislature's lawful authority to enact congressional maps on behalf of the people of the state. In a statement reacting to the decisions, People Not Politicians called on Hoskins to immediately declare that the petitions have sufficient signatures. Enough reports have come in from local election authorities to show that it has the required signatures in 6 of the state's 8 congressional districts, the PAC contends. Holding the August election using the new map, if the petition is sufficient, would silence the voters who signed it and make the August election illegal, the statement read. A sufficient petition suspends the law the day it is turned in, said Richard Von Glahn, executive director. Unnecessary delays by politicians do not change this fact. If he continues to delay, then he is moving forward under a map that has been suspended by the people. Opinions followed oral arguments. The opinions issued Tuesday afternoon did not refer specifically to the oral arguments heard in the morning. For more than an hour, the judges sat in silence as they heard the 2 cases. The day in court was structured so judges first heard arguments over whether the map meets the state's constitutional requirements for districts to be compact and contiguous before considering the question of whether the map is in effect. Compactness isn't optional, said Asim Mulji, attorney for the ACLU of Missouri, as he opened the case challenging the constitutionality of the map. In response, Kathleen Hunker of the Attorney General's office said the map passed last year meets every constitutional test. The 5th district isn't the least compact district ever used in Missouri, she said. There is no such thing as a perfect map or a perfect district, she said. The case over the effect of the petitions drew the only questioning from the bench. Judge Zell Fisher asked who would be harmed if the map from 2025 is used in the August 4th primary. Everyone would be injured, replied attorney Jonathan Hawley, representing the people suing to suspend the law. It would dilute the referendum process, if not destroyed it altogether, Hawley said. The definition of racism is drawing districts based on the color of one's skin. We don't want that in this state. Denny Hoskins, Secretary of State. While he was speaking to reporters, Hoskins said he would be interested in another round of redistricting in 2027. Missouri's 1st district is the only one in the state that was drawn to meet the requirements of the Voting Rights Act. Hoskins said lawmakers should revise Missouri's map to eliminate the black majority district. The definition of racism, Hoskins said, is drawing districts based on the color of one's skin, and we don't want that in this state. This is by the Missouri Independent, as part of State's Newsroom, a network of news bureaus supported by grants and a coalition of donors as a 501c3 public charity. Missouri Independent maintains editorial independence. Contact editor Jason Hancock for questions. info@missouriindependent.com.
This one? Okay. Yeah.
Springfield News-Leader, Little Shop of Horrors opening in Springfield with month-long run by Dave DeMille. High Tide Theatrical will open its production of Little Shop of Horrors on May 29th, bringing the cult classic musical and a working plant shop to downtown Springfield, according to a community announcement. The production will run through June 27th at the Light Room Lounge at Martha's Vineyard, 215 West Olive Street. Performances are scheduled at 7:30 p.m. Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Presented by High Tide Theatrical, the show features music by Alan Menken with books and lyrics by Howard Ashman. The story follows Seymour Kralborn, a struggling florist assistant whose discovery of a mysterious plant brings sudden success and dangerous consequences. The musical blends comedy, horror, and romance and includes songs such as Skid Row, Somewhere That's Green, and Suddenly Seymour, according to the announcement. 2 casts alternating performances. The production will feature 2 complete leading casts performing on alternating nights throughout the run. The Skid Row cast includes Landon Stalker, Ashton Umstad, Eric Eichenberger, Bailey Deal, and Kyler Sherman Wilkins. The Downtown cast features Elian McKay, Courtney Stanford, Warren Swedberg, Miles Stamper, and Lavelle Johnston. Decory Coble, Desdemona Estes, Deara Hairston, and Lavelle Johnston will appear as the urchins at every performance. The production is directed by Joshua David Smith, with musical direction by Juliana Pyle and choreography by Jacob Deck. Theater experience will include live plants for sale. High Tide Theatrical has partnered with Grow for Good 417 to transform the performance space into a botanical experience during the run. Audience members will be able to browse and purchase live plants during performances, creating an interactive element that connects the show's themes with the venue environment, according to the announcement. Tickets and special performances. Little Shop of Horrors runs approximately 2 hours with 1 intermission and is rated PG-13 for mature themes, mild language, stylized violence, and dark comedic content. A relaxed performance is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. June 25th, a college night performance with discounted student tickets, and a post-show talkback is scheduled for 7:30 p.m. June 5th. Ticket pricing includes VIP tables for 2 at $100, adult tickets at $30, student, senior, and military tickets at $24, and student rush tickets at $15. Tickets are available at hightidesgf.org. Sorry, High Tides. No, it is High Tide. I'm sorry, I'm rereading that. Let me do this one more time. hightidesgf.org. HIGHTIDESGF.org. The story was created by David DeMille.
This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Springfield Daily Citizen expands access through partnership with Missouri State University Library. Since its inception in February 2022, the Springfield Daily Citizen has been on a mission to strengthen and elevate local journalism. As a digital-only platform, the Daily Citizen prides itself on delivering old-fashioned journalism in a new-fashioned way, combining timeless reporting values with modern accessibility. The Daily Citizen and Missouri State University are pleased to announce a new partnership with MSU's Dwayne G. Meyer Library. This collaboration will provide students, faculty, and library visitors with direct access to the Daily Citizen's content on library computers and in the open access computer lab housed in Meyer. While readers generally need a subscription to get unlimited access to Daily Citizen content, this initiative ensures that the university community can freely engage with high-quality local journalism in an academic setting. The goal of this program is to support student and faculty success by providing reliable, in-depth reporting for coursework, research, and general knowledge. By removing access barriers within the library, the partners hope to foster greater awareness of local issues and encourage informed civic engagement. The agreement expands on an existing collaboration between MSU and the Daily Citizen, which is an independent nonprofit and not part of the university. In October 2021, MSU's Board of Governors, in keeping with the university's public affairs mission, unanimously approved a facility use agreement providing the Daily Citizen with office space and a host of related services. The Daily Citizen is housed in MSU's Freudenberger House. The Springfield Daily Citizen remains committed to serving as a trusted voice for the community and is proud to collaborate with Missouri State University to expand access to meaningful journalism. Free Daily Citizen newsletters, collection of the daily headlines, are available to everyone on and off campus. You can sign up through this link, sgfcitizen.org/newsletters/.
Drury partners with businesses to provide degrees, credentials to employees. This is at the Springfield Business Journal. by Claudette Riley. Drury University has been reaching out directly to area employers, offering to partner with them on training and degree programs for their employees. The Drury Go Employer Engagement Program, launched in October, quickly forged pacts with 12 businesses and started talks with many others. People need something, but it may not be a credential. They might need a continuing education credit. They might need a pathway, said Drury President Jeff Frederick in a mid-April meeting. They might need to go from shift work to an associate degree, which we can do, and they might need to go from an associate to a bachelor's. Frederick said the team has been meeting with employers and their directors of human resources to see what they need and what services Drury can provide. He said the goal is to support employee retention, recruitment, and advancement while also strengthening workforce development. We are constantly in an outbound mode to establish those relationships and provide one-on-one individual assistance to people, he said. Here's how it works. Drury enters a partnership with an employer such as the Arc of the Ozarks and provides a scholarship, 1 free credit hour per semester for eligible employees, and in many cases their spouses or dependents. The employees have access to all Drury Go degree and certificate programs, which are offered in the evening, online, or in hybrid formats. Employees fill out FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid, to be admitted to a degree or certificate program and enroll in a minimum of 3 credit hours. The students are eligible to transfer prior college credits. For their part, employers promote Drury as an education partner internally and provide access to Drury Go to engage with students each semester. Mary Beth Klensaucer, a chief human resources officer at the Arc of the Ozarks, said the partnership with Drury was a no-brainer. We are a nonprofit, and we're always looking for good benefits for our staff, especially when it comes to continuing education, she said. A lot of our employees are very interested in getting college degrees. Kleinsausser said there's no expense to the nonprofit. She said interest has been highest in a bachelor's program Drury offers in behavioral and community health. What we do is just advertise it for them and make sure our employees know about it, she said. We just had such good participation that we've been able to continue our partnership. She said employees who did not enroll or complete college right after high school may not understand where to start, but the program offers a pathway. When I can have an actual person to send them to talk through things and know that they're going to get a good deal on the program, that really breaks the ice for them, Kleinsausser said. We've had that feedback from our employees. Other partners in the Springfield region include Arvis Bank, Centerstone, Central Bank of the Ozarks, the City of Springfield, City Utilities of Springfield, K&S Wood Products, LLC, Missouri Department of Corrections, MERS Goodwill, Paul Mueller Company, Nixa Public Schools, and Positronic Industries, Inc. Lisa Monteleone, strategic recruitment specialist at Drury, said the partnering businesses can add this as a benefit for employees who want to advance their careers. In order to move up, they may have to have a bachelor's degree that they don't have, she said. Many of them started their education and abandoned it at some point because they got a position they wanted, but now they're finding they can't move up. Monteleone said the relatively new program has already evolved, offering more flexibility. For example, it wasn't initially available to employees, spouses, and dependents. The program that I'm currently talking about now is different than the program that we started with just in the last 6 months because of listening to employers that we've met with, she said. Kevin Kropp, Executive Vice President of Drury Go, said Go previously referred to global and online, and now it is greater opportunities. It encompasses the range of programs that fall outside of the traditional undergraduate day school. It's very customizable to people's schedule, he said.
This is from the Springfield News-Leader. Rescue of 100-plus dogs from an RV spurs $30,000 in donations for shelter. By Michelle Del Rey, USA Today. Donations are pouring in for a Nevada animal shelter after local authorities recovered more than 100 dogs from an RV camper earlier this month. In a May 18th news release, the Mesquite Police Department said it had received numerous calls over the past several months regarding a home housing an excessive number of dogs. Police would subsequently issue the homeowner, Agustino Lodondo, multiple citations during this time, saying he was found to be in violation of Mesquite City animal ordinances. Earlier this year, Lodondo was evicted from his residence in Mesquite, a city about 80 miles northeast of Las Vegas, and indicated that he was leaving Nevada with his animals, police said. Lodondo returned to Mesquite on May 15th, and when officers visited him, they issued him more citations related to animal welfare and recovered 77 dogs from his RV. The responding officers then took the recovered dogs to the Mesquite Animal Shelter, where police learned that many of the animals required extensive medical attention due to the conditions in which they were found. Additionally, several of the dogs appeared to be pregnant, including one who had given birth to 4 puppies by the morning of May 18th, bringing the total number of recovered pups from the scene to 81, according to police. More dogs recovered from the scene, owner arrested. After serving an arrest warrant on Lodondo on May 19th, police found 33 more dogs, bringing the total number to 114, according to a subsequent news release. Lodondo was arrested and booked on 8 felony counts of animal cruelty and 100-plus counts of misdemeanor animal neglect, police said, adding that additional charges may be added pending ongoing evaluations of the dogs. Clark County records show Lodondo was officially charged on May 20th with 8 felony counts of willfully or maliciously torturing, maiming, or mutilating an animal kept from companionship or pleasure, as well as 36 counts of misdemeanor depriving, neglecting, and refusing an animal of food and drink. Court records do not show that Lodondo has retained a defense attorney as of May 22nd, but says his next hearing is on June 3rd. USA Today has contacted the Clark County Public Defender's Office for comment. The shelter is now working to provide the recovered dogs with medical treatment, nutrition, and safe housing, police stated. However, the task hasn't been easy. Due to the high number of animals and the level of care required, the shelter is experiencing a significant strain on its physical and financial resources, police said. As the shelter continues providing critical care for these animals, community donations would be sincerely appreciated. As of Friday, May 22nd, the community has responded in a big way. Donations pour in. Mesquite Police told USA Today on May 22nd that the animal shelter has received over $30,000 in donations to care for the dogs. In a Facebook post on May 19th, the Police Department and Animal Control Division thanked the public for their support. "We are well stocked with supplies and food," the department wrote. "Anyone wishing to donate to the animal shelter can do so." Michelle Del Rey is a trending news reporter at USA Today. Reach at mdelrey@usatoday.com.
All right. Springfield News-Leader. Springfield Kitchen cited for temperature violation twice in 1 week by Susan Such, I believe. Springfield Kitchen was cited twice in less than a week for the same violation, according to reports from the Springfield Greene County Health Department. Drury Inn and Suites at 2715 North Glenstone had a routine inspection on May 15th that resulted in a re-inspection due to food made the previous day not cooling to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. During the re-inspection on May 19th, Health Department inspectors again found food made the previous day had not cooled to 41 degrees or below, according to the report. The kitchen will require another re-inspection. During both visits, potentially hazardous foods made the previous day that were above 41 degrees were voluntarily discarded. Issues found during inspections fall into either priority or non-priority violations. Priority violations impact the safety of the food, such as cross-contamination between raw and ready-to-eat food, improper food temperature, and poor personal hygiene and employee health. Multiple priority violations can lead to an establishment being shut down. Non-priority violations alone do not directly affect food safety, such as dirty floors, sticky tabletops, or outside trash cans not being covered. Food inspections take place 1 to 3 times a year, depending on the type of food served, the population served, difficulty of food preparation, and past history. Restaurants preparing food from raw ingredients are inspected more often than convenience stores that serve only non-potentially hazardous foods such as popcorn and soda, according to the Springfield Greene County Health Department. Each report identifies what was happening at the establishment at that time. Consumers who want to know whether a violation is a one-time thing or a pattern are encouraged to refer to previous reports. Here are food inspections from the past week. Amigos Mexican Restaurant, 2259 South Campbell Avenue, Springfield, May 18th, routine inspection, result active, no violations observed. Ashgrove Sunshine Center, 310 North Perryman Avenue, Ashgrove, May 18th, routine inspection, result active, no violations observed. B4 Wings LP, 303 East Battlefield Road, Springfield, May 18th, routine inspection, result active, no violations cited. Best Western, Route 66 Rail Haven, 203 South Glenstone Avenue, Springfield, May 19th, routine inspection, result active, no priority violations. 2 non-priority violations. Observed no sanitizer test kit for 3-vat sink. Education given. Observed no hand soap at hand sink upon arrival. Education was given. Big Mama's Coffee and Espresso Bar, 217 East Commercial Street, Springfield, May 20th. Routine inspection. Result active. 2 priority violations. Observed chemical bottles without labeling in the kitchen, which person in charge identified as sanitizer and was corrected on site by marking bottles with contents. Observed dish machine sanitizer testing at 10 parts per million upon arrival for inspection, which was corrected on site by person in charge, replacing container of sanitizer and sanitizer testing in appropriate range. 1 non-priority violation. Observed restroom hand washing sink with water temperature at 65 degrees. Bazaar Bar Downtown, 300 Park Central East, Springfield, May 14th. Routine inspection. Result active. No priority violations. 3 non-priority violations. Observed no hand washing soap at kitchen hand washing sink. Observed no paper towels available at kitchen hand washing sink. Observed hand washing sink at main bar used as dump sink. Bobalicious and Bakery, 2926 South Campbell Avenue, Springfield, May 20th. Routine inspection. Result active. No violations cited. Bubba's Barbecue, 504 Northwest Bypass, Springfield, May 15th. Re-inspection. Result active. Previous priority violation resolved. Captain D's, number 3545, 2964 South National Avenue, Springfield, May 18th. Routine inspection. Result active. No priority violations. 1 non-priority violation observed. Cabinets under soda fountains machines had buildup of debris, mold, which is a repeat violation. Cox Health South, 3801 South National Avenue, Springfield, May 13th. Re-inspection. Result active. Priority violation corrected prior to re-inspection. Sprayer hose above the flood rim. Control LLC, CTRL, 3011 South Patton Avenue, Springfield, May 14th. Routine inspection. Result active. No violations observed during inspection. Denny's LVP Food Service Concept LLC, 225 East Evergreen Street, Springfield, May 13th. Routine inspection. Result active. 1 priority violation. Observed the dishwasher tested absent for sanitizer, which was corrected on site, and education given. No non-priority violations. Dollar General Corporation, 5325 North State Highway H, Springfield, May 14th. Routine inspection. Result active. No violations cited. Drury Inn and Suites, 2715 North Glenstone, Springfield, May 15th. Routine inspection. Result permitted with re-inspection. 1 priority violation. Observed potentially hazardous foods. Made the previous day walk-in cooler not cooled to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. Baked beans at 49 degrees Fahrenheit. Chili at 57 degrees Fahrenheit. Cheese sauce at 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Pulled pork at 51 degrees Fahrenheit. Baked potatoes at 49 degrees Fahrenheit, which were voluntarily discarded, and a re-inspection will occur. No non-priority violations. Drury Inn and Suites, 2715 North Glenstone, Springfield, May 19th. Re-inspection. Result permitted with re-inspection. Another re-inspection will be conducted. 1 priority violation. Observed potentially hazardous foods made the previous day and walk-in cooler not cooled to 41 degrees. Baked beans at 43. Chili at 50. Pulled pork at 44 degrees, which are voluntarily discarded, and another re-inspection will incur. No non-priority violations. Everyday Thai LLC, 220 West Battlefield Road, Springfield, May 13th. Routine inspection. Result active. 2 priority violations observed with severely potentially hazardous food items being held above 41 degrees, which were voluntarily discarded, and unit at 41 degrees or below before end of inspection and corrected on site. Observed 0 parts per million bleach in dish machine, which was corrected on site, and education given. Fuji Japanese Seafood and Steakhouse, 2909 South Campbell Avenue, Springfield, May 18th. Routine inspection. Result active. No violations cited. Genesis Health Clubs of Springfield North, 1249 East Battlefield Road, Springfield, May 15th. Routine inspection. Result active. No violations cited. Get and Go, 3030 South Jefferson Avenue, Springfield, May 14th. Routine inspection. Result active. No priority violations. 3 non-priority violations. Observed debris in ice machine. Education given. Observed several cases of drinks stored on floor of walk-in cooler. Education given. Observed no hand drying provisions at the hand sink and restroom, which was corrected on site, and education given. Golden Estates, 1134 West Norton Road, Springfield, May 14th. Routine inspection. Result active. No violations cited. I'm going to go through these now because there is still a lot, and I will just let you know the ones that are not good. The ones that are good, you don't need to know because you already know they're good. Let's see. We've got Highland Springs. Our House, 326 South Avenue, Springfield, May 14th, routine inspection. No priority violations, however, one non-priority violation. Observed ice scoop and ice bin with handle in direct contact with ice for drinks, which was corrected on site by storing scoop with handle up above the ice. Emo's Pizza had on 636 West Republic Road had one priority violation, observed potentially hazardous food items being held below 135 degrees, which was corrected on site and education given. Inner Circle Vodka Bar had one non-priority violation, observed the ice scoop stored on top of the lid of the ice machine. Kearney Prime LLC, 1313 West Kearney Road, Springfield, had one priority violation, observed container of rice not cooled to proper temperature within the first hours, which was voluntarily discarded and education provided. Longhorn Steakhouse, number 5403, 3121 South Glenstone Avenue, Springfield. Result is permitted with re-inspection. One priority violation, observed potentially hazardous food items not being held at or below 41 degrees in breading station cooler. Raw chicken at 45 degrees, raw shrimp at 43 degrees, firecracker chicken tortilla at 43 degrees, buttermilk at 44 degrees. Food items placed on ice temporarily and re-inspection will occur. Mexican Villa South observed stacked plastic containers with sticker residue stored as clean, which is corrected on sites and education given. Observed hood grills with grease buildup, education given. Let's see, Popeyes number 779 on 1231 West Kearney. One non-priority violation, observed box of single-use cups found stored directly on the floor, and observed 3-vat sink found with constant leak from faucet. Let's see. Rapid Roberts, number 127, observed open packages of sausage in the walk-in cooler without date marking. 2 non-priority violations, observed buildup of interior ice machine, observed a leak at base of the 3-vat sink when the water is running, which is a repeat violation. Sensitively Sweet, 1450 East Sunshine. One non-priority violation, observed 3 cases of single-use cups on the ground in the back storage room, which is corrected on site and moved into shelving 6 inches off the floor. Southbound Bar and Grill, 5739 South Campbell Avenue, Springfield, May 13th, routine inspection. Observed several potentially hazardous food items above 41 degrees, which were voluntarily discarded, education provided, and corrected on site. 2 non-priority violations, observed leaking plumbing in both the hand sink and 3-vat sink, and observed debris in the walk-in cooler on the ceiling and fan guard. Split Social Kitchen had observed product in the prep cooler store beyond 7-day limit, discarding product and education given, no non-priority violations. The Hive, 304 West Jackson Willard, May 18th, routine inspection. Result permitted with re-inspection. Observed display cooler for baked goods over 41 degrees, which is a repeat violation. Potentially hazardous food items in cooler were recently prepared and were relocated to a different cooler. Education provided. Whole Hog Cafe, 224 West Sunshine. 2 non-priority violations, observed debris in the ice machine, education given, observed debris on the floor of the walk-in cooler, education given. And everywhere else is safe to eat.
Man. This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Poking around, did you know there's been a data center in Springfield for 23 years? At first it was called SpringNet, owned and operated by city utilities. When it moved underground, it became SpringNet Underground. In 2014, CU sold it to Bluebird. This is by Steve Pokin. It says, there's a disconnect somewhere. On May 11th, about 800 people squeezed into the auditorium at Marshfield High School to oppose plans for a new data center outside in Webster County, expressing concerns that such centers are a danger to the environment and a threat to the community. The people of Webster County also expressed a distrust of the developer, Lumon Solutions, LLC, and the men behind it, Trent Overhue, who in 2025 bought Plaza Towers in Springfield and Ashton Owens. The disconnect, as I see it, is that most people seem unaware that there's been a data center quietly operating here in Springfield for 23 years. It's called the Bluebird Fiber Underground Data Center. You can't see it because it's 85 feet underground at Springfield Underground, where its servers and other equipment are safe from ice storms, lightning strikes, and tornadoes. There's been no controversy involving Bluebird Fiber, no environmental mishaps, no complaints about water use or discharge, at least that I'm aware of. In terms of Bluebird Fiber news, all I've found in archives has been an update every year or so about Bluebird's expansion in space and capacity, as diligently reported by the Springfield Business Journal. And there's a picture of the Springfield, the Bluebird Fiber Underground Data Center in the Springfield Underground. You can just see trucks parked underground. If data centers are so harmful, why is the one in Springfield operated so successfully that hardly anyone knows it's here? I think it's because when most people hear data center these days, they think of the gargantuan AI facilities being built across the country. They're described as hyperscale. We'll get to that in a bit. When systems hum, they need to be cooled. When data storage systems hum, the massive amounts of electricity they consume heats up microchips, which need to be cooled. Bluebird Fiber has a closed-loop water cooling system, which drastically reduces water usage. The data center being constructed in Webster County also will have a closed-loop water cooling system. Before there was a Bluebird Fiber in Springfield Underground, there was a SpringNet, a telecommunications system owned and operated by city utilities, the utility company established by the city of Springfield in 1945. SpringNet changed its name to SpringNet Underground in 2003 when it leased space at Springfield Underground. The SpringNet Underground houses computer servers for businesses who either want to move those servers off their business sites or sought a reliable disaster backup for data storage. That's what traditional data centers do. AI data centers generate more heat due to the high-powered computer equipment needed. Maybe Webster County needs a planning and zoning commission? SpringNet Underground grew like gangbusters, leasing more and more space at Springfield Underground. Then city utilities sold it in 2014 to what was then Bluebird Network for $8.4 million. Why? The business is doing well, but we don't really have a funding stream to handle those expansions. Scott Miller, then City Utilities General Manager, told Springfield News-Leader in December 2014. Data center opponents in Webster County are concerned about the future growth of the data center under construction there. That seems a legitimate concern based on the growth of Bluebird here in Springfield. It also seems to me that the conundrum in Webster County has a lot to do with the fact that it's a rural area and a lot of people there don't favor much government intervention. The advantage of not having government telling you how to build a barn, for example, can become a disadvantage when the county doesn't even have a planning and zoning commission. Such a body might have been able to put in place regulatory standards for things like data centers. Has the time come for Webster County to have a planning and zoning commission? Comparison between Bluebird and plans for Webster County Data Center. Let's make some comparisons between Bluebird and the plans for the AI Data Center in Webster County. First, Bluebird is 85 feet underground and the Webster County Center is not. I know, call me Captain Obvious. Bluebird has about 80,000 square feet of space, while the proposed Webster County Data Center will have several small modular buildings totaling about 7,000 square feet. According to a video on the Bluebird website, the company has 3 6-megawatt generators made by a company that's part of Rolls-Royce. That's 18 megawatts. What's a megawatt? It's a unit of power that equates to 1 million watts. When a power source is rated as 1 megawatt, it means it has the capacity to deliver energy at a rate of 1 million joules per second. I know what you're thinking. What's a joule? It's the standard international unit used to measure energy, work, and the amount of heat. In other words, the more megawatts, the more energy and the more heat. Also, the more megawatts, the greater the demand on the local supplier of electricity to the data center. At the meeting at Marshfield High, Overhue said Lubbock Center will use 10 megawatts of power. The site is adjacent to a Webster Electric cooperative substation, meaning the center will be next to an accessible electric infrastructure. Neither of the data centers, the one up and running since 2003 and the other being built, is considered a hyperscale data center. Now, that's what you call a hyperscale data center. On May 12th, Charlie Keegan, the brother of Daily Citizen managing editor Harrison Keegan, reported for KSHB 41 TV in Kansas City that a Dutch company called Nebius broke ground on a 400-acre site in Independence for what it calls an AI factory. The AI factory will have 4 buildings totaling roughly 2 million square feet. The first building, not including the 3 that will follow, will have approximately 490,000 square feet and is designed for 200 megawatts of computing capacity. This is what you call a hyperscale data center. An Independence councilman told Keegan the data center will generate its own electricity. A company representative said the data center will use a closed-loop water cooling system that uses about as much water per year as a convenience store. Data centers like this are so large that they are believed to create heat islands. CNN reported in March that according to one study, hyperscale data centers create and vent so much heat that they actually raise the temperature of the surrounding area, an average of 3.6 degrees Fahrenheit. I tried to get comment from Bluebird. Just so you know, I called Bluebird for comment for this column. My open-ended question about the seeming disconnect that I see. Why the concern about the environmental impact of data centers and the perceived harm to the community when your data center here in Springfield has operated for 23 years without any incidents that we've heard about? An on-site manager at Bluebird told me I needed to go through Bluebird's marketing department. The manager gave me a name and number to call. I called, and as happens so often in my career when dealing with corporate America, I did not hear back from the marketing and or public relations person. This is Poking Around column number 354.
Springfield News-Leader, U.S. strikes Iran again as pressure mounts to resume peace talks. This is by Eduardo Cuevas, Zach Anderson, and Aisha Bagchi at USA Today. As President Donald Trump faced mounting pressure Monday to finalize a peace deal with Iran, the U.S. military carried out strikes in the southern region of the Middle Eastern country. The renewed strikes came after Trump began lowering expectations that a deal was near. In a statement from U.S. Central Command, military officials said the strikes were designed to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. U.S. forces targeted boats attempting to lay mines and missile launch sites in what a CENTCOM spokesperson described as defensive actions amid the ongoing ceasefire. Nearly 3 months since the start of the war, Trump is bound by expectations to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which has sent oil prices skyrocketing due to its closure, while also pushing to remove Iran's enriched uranium as part of the country's nuclear program. Over the weekend, Trump said an agreement with Iran was near before adding that American negotiators could take their time. Iran's Fars news agency said Trump's announcement that a deal was nearly final was inconsistent with reality. Meanwhile, Democrats and some congressional Republicans have criticized the deal. Trump took to social media on Sunday to call critics losers who are critical about something they know nothing about. The United States and Israel launched strikes on Iran on February 28th, prompting Iran to retaliate with strikes across the Middle East. Israel has also expanded operations into Lebanon, targeting the Iranian-backed Hezbollah militant group. At 6:21 p.m. May 25th, U.S. strikes boats, missile launch sites in Iran. The U.S. military carried out strikes on Monday in southern Iran against targets including boats attempting to lay mines and missile launch sites in what it described as defensive actions. U.S. Central Command said in a statement the strikes were designed to protect our troops from threats posed by Iranian forces. U.S. Central Command continues to defend our forces while using restraint during the ongoing ceasefire, said Navy Captain Tim Hawkins, a Central Command spokesperson. I'm going to read this forwards to backwards. So there was blow-by-blow accounts yesterday of what was happening between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. So I'm going to start at the beginning. 7 a.m., what's in the peace deal? The administration is working with Iranian officials to draft a memorandum of understanding on the peace plan's principles. A senior Trump administration official said it would include Iran giving up enriched uranium, and it would give parties 60 days on how that would work. A key part of any deal would be to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, which is used to transport about 20% of the world's oil. A senior Trump administration official said progress had been made, but Trump said a deal that was largely negotiated wasn't final yet. Questions about Israel's siege of Lebanon also remain. Iran's Fars news agency said the United States and Iran are negotiating whether the United States and its allies would not attack Iran or its supporters, which include Hezbollah in Lebanon, while Iran would pledge not to launch preemptive attacks. Israel had disputed this. Israel media said Trump and Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu agreed Israel would maintain the right to act against perceived threats, including in Lebanon. At 7:31 a.m., Hezbollah leader says he hopes peace deal includes Lebanon. Hezbollah's leader on May 24th said he was hopeful for a possible deal between Iran and the United States and that it would include Lebanon. However, the militant group's Secretary General, Naim Qassem, decried negotiations between Lebanon and Israel, calling on Lebanese people to take to the streets against their government. God willing, this agreement will be finalized, and there are signs of its completion, and accordingly that we too will be among those included in this agreement, an agreement of a full cessation of hostilities, Qassem said on Hezbollah's television channel in a broadcast, according to AFP. Still, Lebanon's national news agency reported Qassem said the Lebanese government should reverse its decision, criminalizing the resistance. Qassem reportedly said Lebanon's officials should have taken a stand against American sanctions on Hezbollah's linked officials, saying the state should abandon direct negotiations. He called the Lebanese people to take to the streets in response, the New York Times reported. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Hezbollah, the militant group backed by Iran, was on a deliberate campaign to destabilize Lebanon amid American-brokered peace talks between Israel and Lebanon. At 8:08 a.m., Trump says Iran negotiations are proceeding nicely but warns of potential warfare. In a Truth Social post in the morning of May 25th, Trump said negotiations with Iran's government were proceeding nicely but also threatened renewed warfare if no deal is struck. It will only be a great deal for all or no deal at all. Back to the battlefront and shooting, but bigger and stronger than ever before, and nobody wants that, he posted. Trump didn't offer specific details in the post on what the deal might include. Earlier in the morning, Trump posted that the deal would be the exact opposite of the deal the Obama administration struck in 2015 to reduce Iranians' uranium enrichment and require inspections to monitor Iran's compliance. Trump characterized that deal, which he withdrew from during his first presidential term, as a direct and open path to a nuclear weapon for Iran. "No, I don't do deals like that," Trump posted. Secretary of State Marco Rubio told reporters in New Delhi that the U.S. would give diplomacy every chance to succeed before exploring alternatives. 9:11 a.m. Trump pushes to expand Israel relations as of Iran negotiations continue. Trump said in a May 25th Morning Truth Social post that he has urged countries in the Middle East and beyond, including Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Pakistan, Turkey, Egypt, and Jordan, to join the Abraham Accords, a set of agreements mediated by the first Trump administration to normalize relations between Israel and other countries. Israel, the United Arab Emirates, and Bahrain signed the accords in 2020. Sudan and Morocco joined soon after. Trump said he raised the issue in a call with several foreign leaders on May 23rd that addressed his administration's negotiations with the Iranian government. "I stated that after all the work done by the United States to try and pull this very complex puzzle together, it should be mandatory that all of these countries, at a minimum, simultaneously sign on to the Abraham Accords," he posted. Trump added that one or two of the countries may have an acceptable reason not to join. Trump even floated the idea that the Iranian regime, which was called Israel the Little Satan and U.S. the Great Satan, could join. And speaking to numerous of the great leaders mentioned above, they would be honored as soon as our document is signed to have the Islamic Republic of Iran as part of the Abraham Accords, he said. At 10:38 a.m., Pope criticizes the use of AI in warfare. U.S. officials have described using artificial intelligence expansively as part of the war in Iran. "Every tool of AI, we're employing it, blinding, confusing, and deceiving our enemies," Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said at a March 13th press briefing. But Pope Leo urged global leaders to mind the use of AI in warfare in his first major document entitled Magnifica Humanitas, Magnificent Humanity, released May 25th. The Holy See has recently observed that the growing ease with which autonomous weapon systems can be deployed makes war more feasible and less subject to human control, Leo said. This violates the principle that armed forces should be used only as a last resort in cases of legitimate self-defense. Pictured is military officials at Intergroup Tarsus VTOL drone during a military AI summit where 35 countries signed a joint declaration on how to govern deployment of the AI technology in warfare, while U.S. and China opted out in A Coruña, Spain, February 4th, 2026. Leo said there needs to be a clear chain of human responsibility for those who design, train, authorize, and use military technology. When a decision to strike becomes automated or opaque, the risk of abdicating responsibility increases, he said. He also said military leaders need to establish an appropriate moral time frame for military decision-making, even if AI enables swifter actions and to protect civilians. While AI tends to expedite the decision-making process, speed and efficiency should never be the supreme motivating force for the irreversible decisions made in the context of war, he said. In mid-March, more than 100 U.S. lawmakers signed letters to Hegseth asking that the U.S. use of AI and ethical safeguards in military operations after an Iranian girls' school was bombed, killing more than 150 people, many of them children. The New York Times and other media outlets have reported that the U.S. likely conducted the strike on the school, which may have been an outdated list of targets. The Pentagon is conducting its own investigation. 11:01 a.m., Mexico to host Iran for World Cup, President announces. Mexico agreed to allow the Iranian national soccer team to stay in the country during the upcoming World Cup, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum said on Monday. The announcement came 2 days after Mehdi Taj, president of the Iran Football Federation, said FIFA had approved his country's request to change the team's base from the U.S. to Mexico. Iran was originally scheduled to train in Tucson, Arizona for the international soccer tournament, but requested a move amid security concerns stemming from the country's war with the U.S. and Israel. 12:14 p.m. Oil slips to two-week low as U.S.-Iran seen moving closer to a deal. Oil prices fell about 5% to two-week lows on Monday as optimism grew that the United States and Iran were moving closer to a peace deal that would reopen the Strait of Hormuz, even though Washington and Tehran played down hopes for an imminent breakthrough. Brent crude futures were down $4.97 or 4.8% at $98.57 a barrel at 11:19 a.m. Eastern, and U.S. West Texas Intermediate futures were down $4.85 or 5% at $91.75. Both contracts traded their lowest since May 7th. Iran's top negotiator and its foreign minister were in Doha for talks with Qatar's prime minister on a potential deal with the U.S. to end the three-month-old war, an official briefed on the visit said Monday. At 2:02 p.m., Trump honors soldiers killed in Iran war during a Memorial Day ceremony. President Donald Trump honored the 13 United States service members killed during the Iran war as part of the traditional Memorial Day observance at Arlington National Cemetery, saying they died to ensure Iran will never have a nuclear weapon. We've lost 13 wonderful souls, wonderful, special people, Trump said on May 25th, after a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier at the Military Cemetery in Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C. The annual holiday commemorating slain American service members comes as the Iran war nears the three-month mark and Trump touts progress on turning a 6-week ceasefire into a permanent peace deal. 5:03 p.m. Netanyahu says Israel will escalate attacks in Lebanon. Israel will escalate strikes against Hezbollah in Lebanon, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Monday, as a U.S. official said the militia had ignored warnings to halt firing at Israel in a conflict that could threaten U.S.-Iran negotiations. Israel and Iran-backed Hezbollah have continued to trade blows despite an April 16th truce aimed at halting the deadliest spillover of the U.S.-Israeli joint war onto Iran. Tehran has demanded a halt to Israeli attacks in Lebanon as a condition in talks with the U.S. aimed at ending the broader war. As the United States and Iran appear to draw closer to a potential deal on Sunday, Netanyahu said he and President Donald Trump agreed in a phone call that Israel would retain the right to confront perceived threats on all fronts, including Lebanon. At 6:07 p.m., FIFA confirms Iran's base camp switch from U.S. to Mexico, and FIFA on Monday announced the full list of 2026 World Cup base camp sites for all 48 teams, confirming the last-minute switch of Iran, which was scheduled to set up camp in Tucson, Arizona, only to move to Tijuana, Mexico at the 11th hour. Teams typically spend most of their tournaments at their base camps, only heading to match locations immediately ahead of their games. But Tijuana's location, directly across the U.S.-Mexico border from San Diego, could help with visa issues when the team needs to enter the country, according to Mehdi Taj, president of the Iran Football Federation, Reuters reported. Taj initially announced the camp's move May 23rd before FIFA made it official. Iran officials said earlier this month their players and staff had not yet received U.S. visas. And that concludes all of the events from yesterday.
This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Beagles from Wisconsin Research Facility arrive at Rescue One. The Beagles were greeted by Rescue One staff, volunteers, and 10 foster families anxious to take them home by Jackie Rewald. And there's a picture of 4 brown, black, and white beagles. They're really cute. The white van carrying 10 beagles arrived at Rescue One just after 7 p.m. Wednesday. Their much-anticipated arrival was part of the nationwide effort to find homes for about 1,500 beagles recently released from Ridgeland Farms, a Wisconsin facility that breeds beagles for biomedical research. "They're here," someone called out with excitement. Waiting for the beagles was a small crowd of Rescue One staff and volunteers, as well as 10 foster families who signed up to take in a dog until it finds a forever home. "I'm very excited," said Rena Rippey, who was approved to foster a beagle. "It means the world to the dog. It's rewarding for me, too." There's a picture of Rescue One intake coordinator Sherry Jones on the left and foster Rena Rippey soothe a particularly timid beagle. Rippey took this pup home. Photo by Jim Wilson. Oh. Though this would be her first dog from a research facility, Rippey said she's fostered dogs from puppy mills and dog pounds in the past. "They are special and they take a little more patience," she said. "I have a Shih Tzu that I adopted many years ago from a dog pound in another state. It probably took me 6 months to be able to pick him up without him biting me, but it's wonderful now." Beagles are often used for research because of their docile and forgiving nature. The beagles from Ridgeland Farms have been handled by humans quite a bit, and based on feedback from other rescue groups who've received some, are quite friendly, explained Ellen Dowdy, president of Rescue One's board of directors. Ridgeland Farms and the beagles have made national headlines in recent weeks as animal rights activists tried on separate occasions to steal beagles from the facility. According to the New York Times, activists tried in April to take more beagles from the facility, but were thwarted by the police and private security guards who fired tear gas and rubber bullets on an estimated 1,000 protesters, witnesses said. Dozens of people were arrested, activists said. A special prosecutor found that Ridgeland performed procedures on the beagles that constituted animal mistreatment. The company has denied abusing animals, according to the New York Times. Big Dog Ranch Rescue in West Palm Beach, Florida, bought 1,000 of the dogs and has been working to find homes for them. Rescue One, the Springfield-based animal rescue organization, has partnered with Big Dog Ranch Rescue in the past. We've partnered with them multiple times over the years because they've got the capacity to come in and empty out these puppy mills in Seymour or wherever, Dowdy said. We facilitated that, doing health certificates and things to help legalize. And then they'll either bus them back to Florida or fly them back to Florida. The Rescue One is pretty much at capacity as far as being able to take in more animals. Rescue One's development director, Rebecca Redwing, said they felt confident this community would be eager to help the beagles. Not only have foster families stepped up, Redwing said, there's been a lot of interest in adopting a beagle. We've had multiple people already put in applications. I looked through the computer and it was just beagle, 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 beagle. There are probably 50 beagle apps. After they arrived Wednesday evening, staff placed the 10 crates inside Rescue One's fenced-in yard where the foster families were scattered and opened the cage doors. The beagles were then allowed to explore the yard and meet the humans at their own pace. The hope was that some of the dogs would choose their foster families. However, after nearly 30 minutes, it was clear that although the beagles were friendly and not afraid, mostly, they were not going to attach themselves to any particular fosters. Instead, staff had to match the dogs with their foster families. Cindy Shook, who lives just south of Branson, was among those approved to foster a beagle. Shook says she's been wanting to give back and appreciates the work Rescue One does. We've read about them for many years and donated. This is actually our first time to foster with Rescue One, she said, adding that she's fostered dogs from other organizations in the past and described herself as a foster fail, meaning she always ends up adopting the dog herself. It's a picture of Cindy Shook. She's got blonde hair and has a red shirt on and is holding it in embraces and is embraced by the beagle she and Anna Grzinka chose to bring home. Photo by Jim Wilson. Oh, it's so cute. Shook already has 2 dogs at home and recently lost their third, Shyla, who died a few weeks ago. We felt like 2 dogs is not very much for us, she said, grinning. We're happy to welcome somebody else into our home. Of the 10 beagles now part of the Rescue One family, 9 are females and 1 is a male. They will be fully vetted and appear to weigh anywhere between 15 and 25 pounds. Learn more about Rescue One, the beagles, and other animals looking for homes or foster families at rescueonespringfield.com or on Facebook and Instagram.
I'm going to go through a couple of events upcoming. Gailey's Breakfast Cafe has $6 drugstore burgers and fries and happy hour all night. It's $6 for burgers and fries, $6 classic Bloody Mary, half off munchies, $2 Wells, and $1 off beer. And this is Wednesdays from 2 to 9 p.m. through December. And this is recurring every Wednesday night. We also have upcoming... let's see, the Ozarks Food Truck Rally on May 30th from 11 to 7 p.m. And it is at the, you can find out more at the OzarkEmpireFair.com. It's the 3rd annual Food Truck Rally. This is a one-day family fun event benefiting the Ozark Empire Fair Foundation and will feature the best gourmet food trucks and trailers from around the region, featuring the brightest and most inspired street chefs, bringing everything from burgers, pizza, barbecue, tacos, sandwiches, and sweet treats you can purchase, plus live music on stage and vendors. Admission is free. Let's see. At the Plant Room, there is a pop-up market, and that is located at 1349 South Glenstone Avenue, May 30th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., featuring local vendors and small businesses selling one-of-a-kind handmade and local items. Expect to see vendors with sun catchers, baked goods, jewelry, crochet goods, macrame, soaps and salves, Beanie Baby, taxidermy, paper art, painting, drinks, and more. Let's show our local small and micro business owners some love. Also join us the following day to celebrate our 5-year business anniversary and get exclusive deals on houseplants all day at the Plant Room. At the Vineyard Market on June 1st, that's 1759 West State Highway J in Ozark. There is a 6 to 9 free event. It is recurring monthly on the 1st, presented at the Vineyard Market. Gather your crew and join us for our all-new Piece and Pour Puzzle Night. Test your teamwork on a challenging 1,000-piece puzzle with tables of up to 4 people. The first team to complete their puzzle wins a special prize. The prize is a $50 gift card. Enjoy delicious food and drink features while you strategize and sip. Perfect with puzzle lovers and anyone who enjoys some friendly competition. The We & Co. Business Mixer, 1900 West Sunset Street. It is 417-650-8041 for more information. It's free for 21 and up from 5:30 to 9 p.m. It is also recurring every monthly on the 1st. This is not just any business mixer, it is the place to be. Designed for both men and women 21 and up, we have appetizers and wine giveaways designated for our local business community. Whether you have your own organization or are looking to start one, this is the networking event to attend. Come schmooze and mingle with other like-minded entrepreneurs and business owners in Springfield, Missouri in a light social setting. Order yourself a drink, grab an appetizer, and rub elbows with some Springfield's business connoisseurs. Special note, this is a Dutch treat event. You can choose to order your own drinks at your leisure. Masks are required I think that was probably written a while ago. Do not come if you're experiencing flu symptoms. That must be from a while ago, since this is every month. And then also on the 1st, you have Mahjong Mondays at the Galois. It is free open play, all skill levels welcome, and it is the first and third Mondays. First and third Mondays from 5:30 to 8 p.m. The gallery at the Galois, in collaboration with Blooming Bam's Mahjong, is serving up something new. Join us for Maj Mondays, open play nights designed to bring people together in a fun way inside one of Springfield's most unique venues. Drop in or stay the whole time. And this is at the Galois Theater. You must already know American Mahjong rules. Bring your own 2025 NMJL card. RSVP requested via the Facebook event. BYO food welcome. So the gallery bar will be open with alcoholic and non-alcoholic options, including specialty Mahjong cocktails. New to the game, we recommend taking Mahjong 101 with Blooming Bams before attending open play. Need a 2025 card? Reach out to Blooming Bams in advance to check availability for purchase. Whether you've been playing for years or recently picked it up, grab your tiles and join us for a relaxed evening of American Mahjong. Several tile sets will be provided for play, but we encourage you to bring your favorite setup if you have one. The Galois does not have a designated parking area, so an interactive map is available to find free parking lots and garages downtown. Double check if I missed anything. On May 30th, Cassidy Social House grand opening. Cassidy Coffee Company and Social House. This is at 5176 North Fremont Road in Nixa from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Cassidy Station at Estes Farms. Join as we celebrate the grand opening of the Cassidy Social House in our newly reimagined depot building at Cassidy Station. We're so excited to officially open the doors to our new social space. Come spend the day and evening with us enjoying coffee, specialty cocktails, drink specials, and the atmosphere you've come to love here at Cassidy.
This is from the Springfield Daily Citizen. Ozarks lyric opera tackles giant challenge in Dream Big premiere. Actor Allegra Schaefer trained on stilts for 2 months to prepare to play 8 foot 4 inch Ella Kate Ewing. And there's a picture that there's it looks like blue sky in the back, and Allegra Schaefer on stilts, and S. Jeff Derry also left next to her, and Jason Greer and Elizabeth Derry as Ewing's parents on the right rehearse a scene from the Ozarks lyric opera production of the world premiere of Dream Big. Ella Kate Ewing was born in Northeast Missouri and grew to a height of 8 feet 4 inches by the time she was 22. She gained fame when she joined the Barnum and Bailey Circus in 1897. As if there weren't enough challenges in creating an original, family-friendly folk story with music about the famous Missourian Ella Kate Ewing on a tight schedule, Ozarks Lyric Opera quickly found they had another challenge on their hands, a giant one. Who would play the 8 foot 4 inch tall Ewing in Dream Big, a true tall tale? I'd been asking colleagues from all over the country on how to turn someone into an 8 foot 4 inch giant, Sean Spires, OLO's general director, said. Several said puppets are a great way to do that, but very expensive, and you have to find the right person to build it. So most agreed that stilts would be the easy way, or the best way to do it. However, I did not take into consideration that your average stilt walker can't act and sing. As luck would have it, the right person for the role lives in Springfield. Dream Big makes its world premiere at the historic Galois Theater this weekend with a 7:30 performance on May 15th and a 2:30 on May 17th. We're especially excited to welcome families to the Galois Theater for our Sunday matinee, where adults can purchase one ticket and receive a child's ticket free. Lindsay Wheatley, marketing director for LLO, said in a media release, "It's a wonderful opportunity to experience something meaningful together. To take advantage of that offer, call the Galois box office at 417-863-9491. Tickets and more information are available at the Ozarks Lyric Opera website. The first person Spires thought of when casting Ewing was Allegra Schaefer, a veteran of Springfield stages who appeared in OLO's Black Rider and Sweet Louisa. He knew she was good at movement and singing. Schaefer, however, was understandably hesitant. I have one previous stilt walking experience, Schaefer said. I was in a show and it's on me. I should have said, I'm not going to get up without proper training, but I didn't, and there wasn't any training provided. Schaefer figured she should practice before rehearsal, so up she went. And while I was practicing, they came undone and I fell off sideways and sprained my knee, she recalled. Spires told Schaefer that OLO would invest in her, and the company did. It purchased top-of-the-line stilts for the show and hired experienced stilt walker and aerialist Mar Brikacek to provide training. The two worked for about 2 months before Dream Big rehearsals started. I literally could not imagine somebody better to work with, Schaefer said. Mara is so safety-oriented, so the first thing I learned was how to fall correctly, and that was such a relief to me from the get-go to know. They definitely got me the best person for the job. Schaefer was understandably a little anxious in the early stages of training. That eased about 3 lessons in when Brikacek added humming and singing to the regimen. The funny thing is that when I started incorporating singing, I relaxed because I love to sing, Schaefer said. That's my home. That's what I love to do. I think it's easier to act while singing than while talking. I know not everyone's that way, but it's like that for me. Taking moments to stop and breathe also helped Schaefer relax while up on stilts. Another big adjustment was necessary, however, when she put on a massive hoop skirt as part of her costume. It makes my gait a lot smaller, which is actually more challenging to balance, she said. It's not as big of a step, and I think because you don't have as wide of a stance, that's a bit more challenging. But I started training with a weighted vest just so I could feel some extra weight, because every little tiny bit of difference is really felt when you're on stilts. Even putting that weighted vest on felt very different. Up on those stilts, Schaefer portrays Ewing with aplomb. Born in rural Scotland County, the Missouri giantess became a national figure. Ewing grew normally until about the age of 7, and then her pituitary gland kicked in. Despite being bullied and misunderstood due to her extraordinary height, caused by a condition now known as gigantism, Ewing embraced a life of adventure. She traveled across the United States with circus shows and world fairs, paid off her family's farm, and built her own custom-designed dream home in Gorin, Missouri. Ewing's dedication to her family and friends really stuck out to me, Schaefer said. My family and friends are really important to me, and one of the first decisions Ella made was to exhibit in a Chicago show and basically cancel out all of her family's debts. And so I think initially she chose to do that for her family. And she was also super shy. So for her to decide, I'm going to go perform, I don't think was necessarily intuitive to her, but I think she found a way of strength in being able to be herself. The libretto for Dream Big was written by Kate Kleiss, based on her award-winning children's book, Stand Straight, Ella Kate. That phrase appears as a line in the show, and Schaefer loves it. Her parents were constantly encouraging her to be herself, own who you are, because that's enough. Even though they were apprehensive about the circus world, she said. I can imagine it was horrible for her. I mean, she talks about people stabbing her legs with pins because they wanted to see if she was on stilts. People didn't believe that someone could have grown to that height. It's a Missouri production through and through. Kleiss is from the Show Me State, as is Rural Chapel of the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. He provided the music for Dream Big. The show blends folk traditions and theatrical storytelling to deliver its powerful and uplifting message of resilience, courage, and self-acceptance. This production is incredibly special because it allows us to showcase the extraordinary talent we have right here in the Ozarks. Not only our singers, but also gifted authors, composers, and musicians, Wheatley said. At its heart, Dream Big is a celebration of Missouri storytelling. Transcription and orchestration for Dream Big were provided by Santiago Posada Marin, a Colombian violinist, composer, and arranger currently living in Springfield. Marin is a performer with the Springfield Symphony Orchestra and the Missouri State Symphony Orchestra. He has performed at Carnegie Hall and premiered works internationally. I took Kate and Rule's work and I transcribed everything that Rule created in music, Marin said. I created the voices and the piano part. After that, I created the orchestration for the group that will be on stage. There's piano, clarinet, trombone, drums, guitar, and I'm playing violin. And now I'm conducting as well. We've been rehearsing with the cast for a while, so I know their parts. It's been very fun. Marin said the work was not difficult, but it was just long. The show contains nearly 1 hour of music, so the full score ended up being 400 pages. He's excited to be involved in this world premiere production. I'm just really so immersed in the music, but it's very, very exciting, Marin said. This is really the first project where I feel like I'm using every skill I have: music theory, transcription, orchestration, composing, conducting, and performing. It's all about the same time.
And for our final article today, we have Food News in Springfield. Read all about what's happening with the food scene in Springfield this week's Table Talk by Tessa Cooper. This was the May 26th at 8 a.m. Pictured is what looks like a type of donut or dosa with a dip in a stainless steel container. There are 2 compartments. The dip is in a circle while the 2 pieces of fried bread is in a square part of the container. And then there's another container that looks like a donut. There's a hole in the middle and somebody's hand dipping it into the sauce in the circular part. Nasta South Indian Foods is a new food stand located inside Bombay Bazaar, serving street food like vadas, pictured here, and dosas. One of my favorite parts about my job is that it's always teaching me new things about not just food, but also different regions and cultures. It is constantly expanding my worldview. This past week, I got to visit Nasta South Indian Foods, which is located inside Bombay Bazaar. I left with a better understanding of the difference between northern and southern Indian cuisine and how their lifestyles and climates shape their daily meals. I'll get more into that in this week's edition of Table Talk, which also chats about a new pop-up by a name many local foodies will recognize, and a giveaway you will definitely want to enter by Sketch and Company and Charmingly Cheesecake. New must-try South Indian eats. Up until this past week, I can't say I've ever tried Southern Indian cuisine. And if it weren't for the newly opened Nasta South Indian Foods, I don't know if I ever would have gotten to try it. They invited me to come try several items off their menu, and all of the spice-forward dishes were an absolute delight to my taste buds. This new food stand is located inside Bombay Bazaar, which is a treasure trove of a market filled with Indian spices, snacks, and produce. When I arrived, they greeted me with a cup of chai made with fresh ginger and spices, and it was so amazing that I may just start going there weekly for it. I got to sample a large portion of the menu, so I definitely want to do a review for the magazine soon. But for now, let's unpack one of the main draws of the menu, the dosas. This popular southern Indian street food is a bit like a savory crepe, and it's made with a fermented rice and lentil batter. My favorite one was the masala dosa, which was filled with potatoes doused in spices. Although I ate quite a bit, I didn't feel overly stuffed. As Nirav Patel, co-owner of Bombay Bazaar, explained to me, most of the Indian restaurants around here serve northern-style Indian cuisine. This is much heavier than southern style to accommodate their farming lifestyle and cold winters. Southern Indian cuisine is a bit lighter and reflects a more temperate climate. I left with a new appreciation for this type of food and feeling like I got a little social studies and geography lesson. New flavors popping up. If there's one thing we know about local food entrepreneur Philip Lusig, it's that he's always working on a new food project. He previously helped bring former concepts like Wookie Dogs and El Tamale Drip to life, but Space Buns and Butchie Boys Whips are his 2 latest ventures. He's been traveling to music festivals across the states with these businesses, but he's hosting his first Springfield pop-up to showcase both of them at Big Baby Bagels, 427 East Cherry Street, Springfield, on May 31st from noon to 5 p.m. and June 1st from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. On the Space Bun side of things, he'll be doling out the viral UFO burgers, which are essentially sandwiches with sealed edges. We're most excited to try the Philly We Have a Problem, which features thinly sliced ribeye, onions, peppers, mayo, and galactic cheese. Now on to the Butchie Boys Whip side of things. Ulosic named this business in honor of his father, who sold organic ice cream made from milk from his family's farm during the early 90s. This concept specializes in vegan and gluten-free fruit soft serve, and pressed desserts. We'll be lining up to try the Mom's Strawberry Shortcake Sundae, which is a warm, fluffy donut sealed with strawberries and topped with strawberry soft serve. Is your mouth watering now, too?
Thank you for listening to the Blind Community Thrift Store radio reading service. Tune in every week, Monday through Friday, on the Blind Community Thrift Store's YouTube channel at 10 a.m. for more up-to-date news from the Springfield News-Leader, Springfield Daily Citizen, Springfield Business Journal, and 417 Magazine. Listen after we are live on the Audio Reader Network at www.reader.ku.edu. All broadcasts are played over KSMU's subcarrier airwaves at 67 kilohertz on 91.1 from 3 to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Contact Audio Reader Network for information on receiving a pre-programmed radio.